If you ever find yourself stranded on a deserted island, this video is for you. As the water reached a full boil, he watched with quiet relief. He would still need to let it cool, but his first safe drink was finally within reach. The water was finally boiled, but it was still too hot to drink. He waited beside the fire, watching the steam slowly fade into the evening air. Carefully, he poured the cooled water into his bottle, using the cloth to avoid wasting a single drop. This bottle had become his lifeline. He took a cautious drink and felt strength slowly return to his body. It was only water, but tonight, it felt like victory. Then he noticed the sun sinking behind the trees. The jungle was changing quickly, and darkness would bring a new kind of danger. Before leaving, he put out the fire safely. On a dry island, one careless flame could become a disaster he could never control. He searched for a place to sleep, but rejected the muddy ground near the stream. If rain came, that low area could flood fast. He looked up carefully, checking the trees above him. A dead branch could fall during the night, so shelter had to be safe from every direction. He collected branches, vines, and broad palm leaves from the forest floor. With night approaching, every movement had to save energy and time. First, he leaned a long branch against a strong tree trunk. This simple support would become the backbone of his first shelter. Next, he added smaller branches along the side and tied them with vines. Slowly, the shape of a lean-to shelter began to appear. He layered palm leaves from the bottom upward, like roof tiles. If rain fell tonight, the overlapping leaves could help guide water away. At last, he sat inside the shelter with his supplies close. For a moment, he felt safe until two faint eyes appeared in the darkness. He froze inside the shelter and tightened his grip on the walking stick. Fear surged through him, but this time, he forced himself not to panic. He leaned forward and listened carefully. In the jungle at night, sound can reveal danger long before your eyes ever do. Then the bushes moved, and a small jungle animal stepped into the moonlight. It wasn't a monster, just a curious creature passing nearby. Even a harmless animal could steal food or disturb his shelter. He quickly pulled his backpack closer and kept all his supplies within reach. Instead of attacking, he made himself look bigger and waved the stick carefully. In the wild, calm warning signals are often safer than reckless aggression. The little animal backed away and slipped into the darkness. He stayed alert for a few more seconds, making sure it was truly gone. Once the area was quiet again, he organized everything inside the shelter. Water, backpack, bamboo container, and walking stick all needed to stay close at hand. Then he spread dry leaves and soft grass across the ground. Even simple insulation can help reduce body heat loss during the night. He added leafy branches along the open side of the shelter. It wouldn't fully close the entrance, but it could block some wind and add a little privacy. At last, he lay down on the leaf bedding and used the backpack as a pillow. He kept the stick beside him and the water bottle close to his chest. Slowly, the sounds of the jungle became less frightening. As insects glowed outside and leaves rustled softly, his eyes finally began to close. At dawn, a sharp cracking sound jolted him awake. He sat up instantly and saw fresh footprint. At dawn, he crouched outside the shelter and studied the fresh footprints in the mud. They were new, clear, and much too close for comfort. The prints were larger than the small animal tracks from last night. Whatever made them had passed near his shelter while he was sleeping. He looked toward the dark trail where the footprints disappeared. Curiosity pulled him forward, but fear reminded him to move carefully. Before following anything, he checked his supplies. Backpack, water, bamboo container, cloth, lighter, and notebook, nothing was missing. He drew a simple map in the dirt, marking the shelter, the stream, and the strange tracks. Getting lost now could be even more dangerous. Then he placed a small branch marker beside the shelter. If he explored the jungle, he needed a clear way to find his camp again. He followed the footprints slowly, keeping his walking stick in front of him. Every step was quiet, careful, and filled with uncertainty. A broken branch stopped him. The wood looked freshly snapped, as if something had forced its way through the trail not long ago. Then he noticed deep scratch marks on a nearby tree. His heart beat faster. The island was starting to feel far less empty. Suddenly, leaves rustled ahead. He slipped behind a large tree and held his breath, gripping the walking stick as tightly as he could. A dark shape moved behind the thick leaves. He couldn't tell what it was, and that made it even more terrifying. He stepped backward slowly and made the smartest choice: do not chase the unknown. Survival sometimes means knowing when to retreat. He followed his own markers back through the jungle, checking over his shoulder again and again. The forest felt different now, watching and alive. When he saw the branch marker near his shelter, relief washed over him. His small camp was still there, waiting in the morning light. But relief was not enough. He searched around the shelter for new tracks, broken branches, or any sign that something had returned. He drew a wide safety circle around the shelter. It wasn't a wall, but it helped him to find the space he needed to keep clear. Next, he cleared stones, leaves, and small branches from the ground. A clean surface would make fresh footprints much easier to notice. Near the entrance, he placed dry branches in a simple line. If anything stepped on them at night, the cracking sound could wake him. He tied his blue scarf to a branch and watched the wind. Knowing wind direction could help with smoke, scent, and future signal fires. Inside the shelter, he moved every supply within arm's reach. If danger came quickly, he could not afford to search in the dark. He opened the notebook and recorded what he had learned: shelter, stream, footprints, and danger zone. Information had become another survival tool. Through the trees, he noticed the wide open beach. The sand was clear, bright, and visible from far away, perfect for a rescue signal. A new idea formed in his mind. If he could not leave the island, then he had to make the island speak for him. Carrying his water, backpack, and walking stick, he left the dark jungle behind. Ahead, the open beach offered his first real chance at rescue. He reached the beach and stared across the empty ocean. Somewhere beyond the horizon, people existed, but none of them knew he was here. He drew a simple rescue plan in the sand: a giant SOS, a smoke signal, and a bright flag. Visibility would be everything. Stone by stone, he gathered materials from the beach. His body was tired, but the hope of being seen kept him moving. He began with the first letter, carefully arranging stones into a large S. From the ground it looked simple, but from above it could save him. At last, the full SOS sign stretched across the sand. Big, clear, and impossible to ignore, it became his message to the sky. From above, the signal stood out against the beach. If a plane or boat passed nearby, this could be the difference between rescue and silence. Next, he prepared a smoke signal. Dry twigs would start the fire, while damp green leaves would create thick smoke without needing huge flames. He lit a small controlled fire inside a ring of stones. This time, he was not just making warmth, he was making himself visible. When he added the damp leaves, gray smoke rose into the blue sky. The signal was alive, climbing higher than his voice ever could. He tied his blue scarf to the walking stick and planted it in the sand. Even a small flag could catch attention from far away. Standing on a rock, he waved both arms toward the ocean. Smoke, stones, and cloth all carried the same desperate message: someone, please see me. Then he froze. Far out on the horizon, a tiny dark shape appeared. Was it a boat, or just another cruel trick of the sea?